Welcome to Future Chronicles, a European podcast created within a 2-year Erasmus Plus project where young women and allies expose gender disinformation, unpack how it spreads, and share how we can resist it. From the margins to the center, reclaiming our narratives, rebuilding trust, and strengthening democracy.
Welcome to the Slovak episode of the Future Chronicles podcast by European Dialogue. Today we are joined by Ingrid Borarosová from Bratislava Policy Institute, a political scientist and researcher focusing on democracy, gender equality, and public discourse. In this conversation, we'll explore the status of women in Slovak society, the persistence of gender stereotypes, the impact of gender-based misinformation, and the role of feminist approaches and civic engagement in strengthening democratic participation. Ingrid, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
To begin, could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us what led you to focus on gender and public policy?
So, as you mentioned, I'm Ingrid. I work at Bratislava Policy Institute. By background, I'm a political scientist. I studied for many years the problems around minorities, problem around migrants and vulnerable groups. And this is just, I would say, the little bit like short step from the gender equality issues, and also its influence on the public policy. So it didn't happen just from randomly. It happened gradually. That I think that anyone who studies democracy or political science or any political development will eventually come to the topic of gender equality and public policy. For example, as a political scientist, I was doing lots of workshops and exams with students, with young people about political debates. We always came up to the question how the women are represented in the political debates, how the women are represented in political environment. And there is lots of students of the political science or the similar fields which are women, which are later not very visible in the real life of politics.
Would you say that women are in minority in Slovakia?
You mean in representation?
Both.
I don't know statistically. I think statistically no, but representing in specific position, yeah, of course that they are in minority.
So how would you describe the current status of women in Slovakia? How is it for women to be citizens of Slovakia?
It's complex and contradictory, I would say. Paper-wise, I think that we are pretending to be pretty equal. However, there is still big gaps between the women and men on both sides. Yeah, I'm not trying to push it towards one side. Like I already said, there is not many women representing the Slovak politics from women. Also, not many women in higher positions, like for example in some international companies. Yeah, in some corporates. Also, on the other hand, there's not many men represented in caregiving professions. So it works both ways, but I think that in the higher positions, the women are quite or leadership position, we can call it like that. We are kind of unrepresented.
What about everyday life of ordinary women who lives in Slovakia? Do you think that they went through some progress over the past years?
I think that, yeah. I remember it was like 10 years ago when I went for discussion. It was actually organized by one of my friends who is a feminist, I would call her like that. And she invited 3 women. One was the kindergarten teacher, if I remember. One was a head of some corporate. And one was also working as a caregiving profession, yeah. And I remember that lady from corporate who was talking about that her husband stayed at home with they had 2 kids, if I remember correctly. I remember the gasps of the women which were sitting in audience, that it was unimaginable for them either. And it was kind of sad to see that woman what was talking about it, and how how they made a decision with her husband that she's gonna be the caregiver and the money bringer or breadwinner. That she, after the shock from the audience, she wasn't so sure about her position either. So she was questioning herself already when she was sitting there, because other women were questioning this decision. This is, I think, kind of normal now, that or more normal than it was before.
more
normal, yeah. That women are becoming more active in the positions like this. Men are starting to share also some responsibilities like household, childcare, and so on and so. It's becoming more normal. It is still not normalized as it should be. You can still hear that when, for example, me as a mom, I often hear that my husband is babysitting. I'm brutally allergic to that. My husband has a child, same as me. So he's not babysitting, he's taking care of his son as well. So this is kind of mindset which is still not completely changed here.
So, is there something where you can clearly say that there is some stagnation or regression, even maybe, in relation to everyday life of women?
Currently, I think that stagnation, yeah, probably with the role of the woman in home. Still, lots of the professions won't allow you to have the child and to be working mom. Yeah, I think COVID helped quite well. Because lots of professions started to be more open towards the fact that, like you're working from home and there is some other person running around you, yeah. And can interrupt meetings, and before that it was something unimaginable. Now it's something which is seen usually with laugh from other participants of the conference call or something like that, which is kind of refreshing. Unfortunately, in the high representative positions, for example, there is started this big trend in Slovakia to go against again. A couple of years ago, there was a feeling that that equality is starting to be a little bit more equal, and now it's going regressing again. So for me, I have a strong feeling that we are going publicly backwards. Backwards. Maybe not in our daily lives, because I see big progress there, but in public eyes, then yeah, we are going backwards.
I would just add that I think, especially in rural areas, the patriarchy is still very strongly present, and women are still underrepresented in their opinions and values and approaches, and it's still like mainly dominated spaces there. That women are just like followers of what husbands say. This is at least from my perspective.
I agree with you, and I think that maybe someone won't agree with me, but I read a really good book about these problems now. It's called Sedliačky. It was very well known now for.
So it's a Slovak book?
It's a Slovak book, or actually, I think it's Polish book. It was written about Poland. It was translated to Slovak. The Aspect published the book, and it's talking about the role of the woman in around from 1800 to 1900s. Yes. So, and it nicely describes how even the religion, how the patriarchy, and how everything was putting women into the position of they call it slave. Yeah, it's a little bit brutal to call it like that, but when you look at the perspective from that, yeah, it was, we could consider it that the woman was put in the position of slave, to be someone who is less dominant, someone who listens, someone who is there to the will of the husband, or not even just husband, son, father, the
Any man
priest,
around.
any man around, yeah, and to be rewarded or to be seen as a good. The only solution for that was to listen without questions.
So you mentioned Poland. Let's go back to the current times, and would you say that in comparison with other countries, Slovakia is better or worse with the position of women in society?
For me, I would say that comparison with Central Europe is that we are very similar. We are not standing out. We are not any worse, I think. But for example, When you compare with Nordic countries or some countries on West, we are like women are very unrepresented also. I think there's a big cultural clash in a normal families, for example, that when I go and visit family in UK, that I have a kind of problems to adjust to that role that, man is also responsible. Like I see it in my household because my husband is equally responsible for our house and everything like that. But for example, my father or my grandfather was expecting that lunch will be served. He will sit down and there will be meal
Not
there.
move a finger.
Yeah, not move a finger. And it's actually kind of fascinating for me to see when I go to UK to see that the older generation can do that as well. Like someone who you could see as someone's grandpa will actually go and cook dinner. Yeah, that's kind
And
of
take
like,
care of them.
yeah, and they care of, and they can wash the clothes, and change bedding or to do something else. Yeah, so it's kind of refreshing. And I have actually a really big problem to adjust to it because it's so ingrained in me that it's I don't feel always very comfortable about that, but I would like to. Yeah, I would like to.
What do you say about yourself that you're feminist?
Not necessarily. uh, I consider myself to be focusing lots on equality, but feminism, it's hard to actually describe what feminism is for me because same as if someone is liberal, yeah, it's a couple of years ago I would describe myself as a liberal, and one of my teacher told me years ago that if you will see that you'll be getting older, less liberal you will be because of the life experiences. And he is actually correct because some of the things in my life or some of the things what I'm doing are pretty conservative compared to liberal. And I think it's same with feminism. Some of the things which I do will be considered to be like on the side that it's very feminist, and some of the things what I do will be considered to be leaning towards patriarchy or towards these trends. So I wouldn't consider myself to be strict feminism, but I really care about the equal opportunities and equality between the genders here.
I'm currently reading a book called Difficult Women by Helen Lewis. And she is mentioning in the book that there's like a blessing and the curse of feminism, that it doesn't come with a strict definition, that it's like so broad and so adjustable that everyone can understand something else by it. And I think that's the beauty of it, that you can have the feminist intentions in you, and you can feel like you are feminist in some aspects, and you can feel like you're not indifferent. So, and I also agree that with the age and with understanding like where you are in the life, your attitudes and approaches are changing. So it's kind of interesting to also see it from this perspective.
Yeah, like you said, it's how you describe it. Yeah, like for example, when I was a fresh mom, I used to go out because I had the feeling that I should. I used to go out with this community of moms which had the child about the same age as my one is, and I just really feel that I didn't fit because they were preparing like the food for their babies from this bio something what they bought, and they eco and which is really good. I really like it. Yeah, like they were really into it, and I just and then I had the two worlds fighting inside me, that first of all I don't have time for it because I have to work, because that was my choice. And on the other hand, like, am I a good mom because I'm not making bio something for my child? So it was very kind of difficult for me to choose, yeah, like or how to look at it. Yeah, like if I'm failing as a mother because I'm not doing everything what I should, considering their expectation, or if on the other hand I'm such a strong feminism because I'm above it all. Yeah, and I wasn't above it all. I could have pretend, but it actually was hurtful for me. So it's kind of, yeah, like you said, it's a bit complicated to explain the. And I think that it is just stronger with you when you become mom, because there is lots of expectation from the society towards you, and stereotypes about what you should and what you shouldn't be doing. And it's not stereotypes just from men, like it's usually taught, but it's stereotypes from your mother, stereotypes from grandma, cousin who had already 3 kids and has recipe for everything. or the stereotypes from other friends which already have
And what is
babies.
funny is that you actually very often don't even know that you are carrying the stereotypes in yourself, and it's like so deeply enrooted in you that you will just one day open your eyes and you will realize that, oh, I'm doing this, I'm part of this, this is also me in me. So that's like really interesting awakening sometimes. At least I have this in myself, in our household.
Yeah, I was for a very long time thinking that it's my responsibility to be getting up to my son when he was awake during night, till I figure out that it's not. And I'm tired and I just want to sleep. Yes, so it was also the something what everyone was amazed about, that I actually get sleep during night as well.
I mean, it's fair, you're doing everything else.
Yeah, but it was so ingrained that it's my role as a mother to be providing that feeding time and all about that during the night, that it was very hard for me to even sleep, because even when I told my husband to go and take care of him, I was
Because of the
still
mental burden.
yeah, I was still lying in bed and fidgeting my fingers or something. Should I step in, or and on the other hand, when we switched it around, I was kind of putting him down, because he felt like I'm stepping in because I think that he's incompetent as a dad to be taking care, which is absolutely not true. It's just so ingrained in me, that stereotype, that it should be my role, that it was very hard to overcome this feeling inside me.
So in the end, both of the ways were challenging.
Yeah, both of the ways were challenging.
Okay, talking about stereotypes, let's talk about them maybe a little bit more specifically. How do stereotypes influence women's opportunities in politics, leadership, maybe more difficult work opportunities, or public life in Slovakia? What do you think?
Usually, the women are seen as they are being more assertive, or they're expected to be more assertive. I can actually imagine that women will have adopt the same speech, or same the communication patterns, or the same even the body language as some men which are in politics and which are being followed by people. And it's very actually funny, because if the men will go and for example throw something on someone in parliament, which used to happen, or to make a big drama from something, and to throw the hands around and shout, it's being seen as the one who is talking through. In Slovakia it said that who is shouting the louder is correct, or has the truth. If the woman would do that, she will be seen as hysterical,
Rude.
theatrical, dramatic, rude, misbehaving, and someone who should be at home and should be put leash on.
Yeah.
So it's it's a really big difference. And you don't only see it in the high politics, but when I was teaching political students of political science, you could also see there that if there was some more dominant personality from the man, or from the male student, it was always seen as the one who's got opinion. But if
and the context of that was negative, the connotation of
no, actually no,
opinionated.
for the male it was his opinion. He's the
okay.
strong leader, and he will be good in political life. If it was a woman, she was always tied to some party, she was sleeping with someone, or something like that. It happened to me a couple of times that I had a student, like women, which were connected to either some political parties, and they were seen absolutely differently. They were seen as someone's, they had to do something to be able to get there, not to be seen as someone who is actually really smart and intelligent, and then it's working towards some goal. The men were always seen as the ones who deserve that position because they did something. Women were always the one who sneaked the position in. So it was very heartbreaking, because it was very challenging for them as well as students, and there was lots of rumors always going around them, and it just wasn't nice for them. And it was all very often it ended up in tears, because they were mocking them. If someone was more
Even at university.
Even at university, yeah.
This
Even
dramatic.
at university, yeah. It was, yeah. When you had a little bit more heated discussion, or you were talking about some specific topics, migration was my topic, so it was always heated. Start of migration crisis when I was teaching. So if they showed some different opinion, the class was mostly liberal. If she showed a conservative opinion, they will crucify her there, yeah. And then they talk that she's connected to this party and that party, how she got there, and it was very dramatic for students of political science. And what is funny about that most of the students were actually women of political science. Yeah, they just disappear in the road to become politically active.
How does the media enters the discussion here? How do media influence how do we perceive certain stereotypes, or how do we fight them? How is the position of women developing thanks to the involvement of media? What do you think is the role of media in all of this?
I actually think that media are kind of depends which media, to be honest with you, yeah.
You can be specific.
The media which are building on clickbaits and which are more like the media which are for fun, I would say they kind of adopt the rhetorics from politics, yeah. So they like when some woman is more like open, or like talks to mind, because they can create a drama queen from her, and this thing. The more conservative media, or more like factual media, I think that they kind of do good job about like portraying like the women and their role. There was also a couple also topics like LGBT and gender stereotypes. I think that they don't do such a bad jobs, because lots of the like journalists are women as well, or from my experience, when we had some talks with journalists, there was lots of them were actually women, yeah. Not the ones what are so visible, like not the journalists which are like
The most well known.
yeah, but there's lots of journalists women which are quite famous now as well, like for example Todova, yeah, or Hanzelova, yeah. So I think they take care of that, yeah, quite well. So it depends which media, yeah, which media portrays women.
And what would you say is the balance between these serious media who are reporting factually and they're really using the like good sources and trying to not support the hurtful narratives creating the stereotypes, versus this like low key fun celebrity oriented media? Who is stronger?
The second one, unfortunately, because I think that they have stronger presence in social media. And I think that it's people are tend to not to read so much now. That whole routine of going in the morning and buying newspaper is kind of disappearing. I don't know, when did you do it last time? I remember exactly when I did it last time. It was when my grandma died, and I went to buy the newspaper, because I always used to do that with her. So that was 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, me as a political scientist and someone who is actually kind of involved in these things, 3 years ago was last time when I bought myself newspaper.
I remember mine too. It was 1 month ago, and the reason for it was because I wanted to create a vision board. So I needed a paper and the pictures. But I agree with you. I'm also not used to buy the physical newspapers anymore. And I think the youngsters are like not even close to buying.
Yeah, but also the older generation. Yeah, first of all, they think that why would I buy it when I can access it online for free? And also, it's easier to read clickbait on the internet than it's to actually read some article on internet. So the balance is very somewhere in between. I'm not telling that everything which is being put out from this kind of clickbait media is not correct. often you actually came up with the fact that the whatever they put out, that it was kind of correct, but the way
you would
how
have to open the article and read it, and that's not happening.
And the way how they put it out can give the bad impression. I don't know if you read the comments under the like clickbait. So I sometimes do, because we did quite interesting research about it, so I'm just interesting. And you can see lots of comments of the people writing that, but you didn't read the article, you just read the titles. So lots of people react just on picture and some title, and that's like they make up their mind like what's the content of it. So this is something which is very kind of dangerous for the society.
It is definitely complicated, and we spoke about the different media houses or brands are having different target groups. And in our project, Future Chronicles, we are focusing on young people. What do you think is the environment for young people in Slovakia to kind of like orientate themselves while they are growing up and they're trying to figure out like how to live a good life, how to be a good woman, a man, and not even speaking like about minorities and LGBTQ people or other lower represented groups of people in Slovakia. What do you think from the perspective of young person? How is it for them to kind of like navigate in this world? Let's talk about women, maybe more specifically, like young women.
I think it's very challenging. I would say that we, I can say that we are older generation. It sounds horrible.
40, so I don't
it's horrible, but like when I'm thinking about young women, let's think about like 13, 14, 15, So let's talk about someone who is at the high school, They grew up with the time where there was always some screen present in their life. We grew up with the time when we needed to make kind of decisions without screen or without shortcuts. So for them, it's not to belittle them now, but for them, I think it's very difficult to distinguish between the information, because the amount of information what hits them every day, it's enormous. It's actually like when we were growing up, we went to school, we went home, maybe we read something, maybe we messaged with some friend, and maybe we were able to go for internet to half an hour when parents allowed us. So we were we watched news. I don't know if you did, but we watched news in our household always. So it was actually the information what got to us was kind of limited, and we had time to actually process it. I think that they don't have time to process the amount of information what gets to them every day. For example, we had the earthquake Saturday it was, in Slovakia. So first it was about it came out in our community Facebook group. There was an earthquake, people were questioning what it was, then it was portrayed from some national news, then it was portrayed in somewhere else. So it was like 2-3 days just about earthquake, and now I feel like I'm actually expert on seismology. So before that, it will be like, you will have it as information, but you will need to use your own brain to actually like evaluate what happened. Here you don't need to, because I read it from 3,500 different perspectives, what caused the earthquake, and when we can happen to have another one. So I think the same is happening with kind of women, the information about how to be successful, how to be loving yourself, that's very important now, because the information what they are receiving are sometimes very horrible, very harmful as well. It's not just about the games like the Blue Whale was a couple years ago. It's lots of Instagram profiles, lots of TikTok videos, which are kind of trying to shape them into something which they are not predicted to, or they shouldn't be, or they are trying to shape them into some vision of something which they shouldn't even entertain the idea. It's like I feel that lots of young women are kind of losing themselves to this, and also the women are more active on the social media than the young men are. That's statistics, it's confirmed, and they have more friends on social media as well. They are more deeply connected within some groups as well. They are more community oriented, that's natural of the women, but also that actually kinds of leave them more vulnerable to some fashion trends, to some trends in their lives, to way how they feel about things. Then there's also that patriarchy concept that it really depends where they are growing up, who are the roles in their life, if how strongly is our parents present. It's very important. Also, the school is a very important factor for young people general, but also for young women. Usually there's one active teacher what gives you some attention, and you will remember the teacher for your whole life. And you take them as role models. Unfortunately, at some schools, this is not happening. We have lots of problems with teachers. There's not enough teachers at schools, so teachers got lots of things to do, more bureaucracy and less time to spend with students. So, but this is something what can really shape also the life of the young people, of the young women, to how they see themselves. So I think that it's very complicated, and then there's also the question that about the future career for them. What is expected from them could be something very different than what they would like to do. And usually, since the women are more assertive, they will kind of bulge towards what either the society or parents or someone around them expects from them.
Do you think that young people in Slovakia these days are well educated, or they understand how does the media works, how they should process the information and data, and generally that they are media literate? And is school something which is providing this for them?
I don't think that they are well educated, to be honest with you, because the schools need to focus so much time of the curricula, and I see in India, because I'm from teachers family, I know how much work they have. So I'm in this for teachers that usually schools have very limited time to be spending on something like media literacy. You need to have really good director, who is very supportive. You need to have really good programs. You need to be adaptable, and you need to have teachers which are really willing to do something like that. I have a really good experience now from Russian gymnasium in Petržalka, where we did the concept of the escape room, where we used the fake news, and we created the escape room where the kids needed to get out, trying to distinguish fake news, cyberbullying. It was really successful. The kids themselves told that they had like 10 lessons before of that on fake news and cyberbullying, and they didn't understand it the way how they understood it just from the stupid 45-minute play of the video. So it's really
That's
depends.
amazing.
I think it really depends from the schools, really depends from the teachers, and I think it really depends from the parents, because parents are not talking to the kids nowadays, and I think that's very difficult, because it's easier for them. Parents are tired, yeah, like we work more hours, the jobs are more demanding, often overlapping our kind of free time which we should have, and we don't have time. We don't sit together for the dinner. We don't actually talk, how was your day, what did you do, if you have some problems. It's all kind of replaced by some screen or something, because parent is tired as well. He doesn't really want to be spending another hour talking to someone when he was doing something or she was doing something similar all day. So we are kind of shortcutting this parenting as well, which could be very damaging for the child.
But the life can be overwhelming. I mean, we are not judging anyone here. But we are slowly about to wrap up and close this discussion. But I have one more question to you as a political scientist. Is there any connection from your perspective between gender disinformation or gender-based disinformation and democratic backsliding?
Of course, because I think the gender was generally, the topic of gender is amazing topic to bring out in the time of crisis. There are several topics which could be repeated till the end of the world and which will always bring this emotional response. And gender is one of them. Yeah, like we had a whole this topic about our that we have two genders in constitution now. Yeah, it fulfilled the.
Can you explain maybe for some listeners who don't know what was happening?
Well, they wanted to put in the constitution of Slovak Republic that we have two genders.
We do. It happened.
Yeah, like they were successful in that. The funny thing is about that we have two sexes, not two genders, but the people don't really distinguish that, and gender is something misused by the politicians so often that people see it as something very negative. Something very similar happened to in Hungary when they closed all the gender studies. That was a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and it was also just a misunderstanding what the topic means. So gender is really good topic. LGBT is another amazing topic for them. All this feminism is a really good topic for them to bring during the time of crisis or when they need to shift attention to something else. People react on that. Cannot forget that lots of people are religious in Slovakia, so they see very strong influence of like this traditional family. Which means that you have mom and dad, and you have kids.
And anything else
And
will
anything
be
else
dangerous to this scheme.
To this scheme. So anything else is kind of harmful or can influence that. Also, with the topic of gender comes they love to come out with the influence of Western societies, the West, like the bad America or bad France. It was very heated topic about opening ceremony in France for the Olympics. On one hand, I would call it like more dramatic performances. They are seen like very positively by someone who loves art or who is a little bit more open-minded, but they are really harmful for someone who is not decided or is a little bit tended to be more conservative. So, and that's how they catch these people, because then they just make a huge bubble around it, like about the whole world gender, and they just build up on it. So it's really good. Same as migration, that's amazing topic to come up when you need to shift attention to something else or you need to win election. Could see a couple of years ago that's how the Nazi party got into the Slovak parliament, because they came out with the topic of
fear from immigrants coming to
fear
Slovakia.
from immigrants. So it is quite good topic.
Okay, this was quite negative but realistic. But let's close this podcast with something more positive and maybe more hopeful. So try to think and share with us, what do we think can give us hope for the future in the current situation? Maybe for young women, for even young men, because I believe that men are to the high extent creating how the society is for women these days. So is there something which we can appreciate today? What is giving us hope for the future?
Like I said at the start, I think that maybe we don't really sit on these high positions, but there are some, stars in the sky which are changing and shifting, like how the people are thinking. And it's enough if you have one woman which will take successfully some leadership position, and the whole company around it will start thinking differently. So it's about kind of this few individuals can do a lots of change. They just need to be a little bit more visible, either by themselves or to be taken out by media, for example, like showing good examples. But like I said, with the young people, I actually see a big shifts in families as well, or how they are, or even not just families, but even how the couple lives, that how they share responsibilities. So it's coming. It's slow, but it's coming. It will eventually come to something positive. We just kind of backlash a little bit now, but I hope that we will move forward to it.
Okay, and I think that's positive enough to close this discussion, not to give just false hopes, but to really understand that the situation in Slovakia and the whole Europe, maybe even whole world, is complex and it's evolving, and there are different factors and elements coming into the discussion and changing the perspectives and narratives. So, thank you very much, Ingrid, for sharing your insights and your perspectives, your opinions, and your experience, actually. I believe that conversations like this are essential for strengthening our public discourse, our young people, and to giving them more empowerment into their lives.
Thank you very much, and I wish you all the success with the project.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Future Chronicles podcast, an Erasmus Plus project with Synergy Italy, Resident Dream Sweden, ce vă solidas Spain and Europejski dialog Slovakia. Journalists for Human Rights, North Macedonia and IVC Romania working together for gender justice across Europe. Future Chronicles challenges gender disinformation and supports young people in resisting it through education, storytelling, and civic engagement. Future Chronicles is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. The views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. Neither the European Union or EACEA can be held responsible for them. If this episode resonated with you, share it. If you'd like to connect or learn more about the project, please visit future-chronicles.eu or search for us on social media. Thanks for listening.